Today's edition of Pittsburgh Steelers Talk is made possible by Aura, the all-in-one digital safety platform, helping keep your personal and financial information safe. There's a free 14-day trial. You can cancel at any time, by the way, when you head over to aura.com/chatsports. Steelers have made another roster move, but first, the major NFL news of the day. We always keep you guys updated because it matters for the Steelers. It's now 11 games for Deshaun Watson with his suspension. He and the NFLPA and the NFL agreed to the 11-game suspension for the Browns franchise quarterback, significantly impacting the Browns' chances of winning a Super Bowl, AFC North, etc. But of course, we care more about what you guys have to say. How many games do you think Deshaun Watson should have been suspended? Here's my mindset. If you think Deshaun Watson did it, 11 games is not enough. Should have been a year or more because there's a lot of accusations against him. If you don't think he did it, well, then you think it should have been 0. Sound off for me. Be respectful in the comments section. Perfect time to remind you guys, by the way, of the ongoing sub-battle. Steelers Talk versus the Browns Report. Happy to report we are 10 ahead. But they've gained some ground in recent days since they're all high and mighty about their Deshaun Watson situation somehow. Let's make sure the Browns continue to take L's. Hit that big red button and subscribe right now. And bonus points if you type in FPD in the comments section. On now to the roster move made by Pittsburgh. Another minor running back move has been made. Max Borghi, the former Washington State running back, played for the Denver Broncos in the first preseason game. The team has announced they have signed him. This move comes as part of a overall roster move. Master Teague, the rookie running back out of Ohio State, he was waived injured today to make room for Borghi. So an injury to Teague. He will revert to IR if and when he ends up clearing waivers. That'll be processed tomorrow from that standpoint. But Max Borghi, the newest member of the Steelers running back room, there was a point there was real draft hype around him. 2019, he had 817 yards on just 127 carries, a blistering 6.4 average. Had a bad 2020 campaign. Injuries a part of it. Left the team. It was kind of a weird situation. 2021, he comes back and was better, but not the same. His best asset really came in 2019. 86 catches for 597 yards. The third down value, which really wasn't always present from that standpoint, was kind of a tough situation there. It regressed in the end. He did have a back injury in preseason camp of 2020 and then kind of played one game and then didn't do a whole lot after that. And there is some untapped talent, but it's telling Denver cut him after just the one preseason matchup. He faces an almost impossible task to make the 53-man roster. This is about getting through the remaining preseason games. You want some depth at running back because you're not going to play Najee Harris. You're not going to play other key parts for you come that week 3 preseason matchup. So I think that's important to keep in mind. Maybe practice squad, but that's, I think, the best you're going to get in the end out of Borghi. So do you like the move? Be honest with me. Y for yes or N for no? I'm fine with it because it's just backup. That's all that matters. You're just trying to fill out that 90th roster spot in the end. Or I guess 85th roster spot at this point. This is the pinned comment on today's show. So if an ad break comes on YouTube, take advantage of it. Y for yes, N for no. Let's talk about the preseason Week 2 quarterback plan for the Steelers, announced by Mike Tomlin earlier today. Mitchell Trubisky will once again start. Kenny Pickett, as expected, will be the backup. I somehow merged Pickett and backup into pickup there. But he will be the backup, quarterback 2, and Mason Rudolph will handle the third-string quarterback duties. Here's what Mike Tomlin said. In regard to the quarterbacks, we intend to play all 3 in this game. Mitch will start. Kenny will be next. And then Mason will finish it off. I thought all 3 guys did play pretty well in the Week 1 preseason matchup. This is part of the long-term plan for Kenny Pickett to eventually become this team's starting quarterback. But to get there, you got to win the quarterback 2 job. I think that is what's trending. We'll see how this week goes. It's very important to play well in the game. but that appears to be the trend at the moment. More on Pickett and Rudolph, etc., and Trubisky as well. But first, a reminder of the awesome deal Aura is offering you, the watchers of Pittsburgh Steelers Talk. A free 14-day trial of their all-in-one online safety tool when you head over to aura.com/chatsports. That link's in the comments section and in the description of today's show, by the way. They offer financial fraud protection, identity theft protection, and online and device security for you and up to 5 members of your family. If you're like the vast majority of all people, you're spending more time online than ever, and you need Aura to help keep you safe. Aura.com/chatsports, a free 14-day, cancel at any time trial for you guys. Here's what else Tomlin had to say. Quote, all 3 guys performed well. I really think the main emphasis and the mentality regarding how we structured it this week is we simply want to see Kenny in more varsity action. We know more about Mason. Mitch has been around the professional game. And so this is a big week for Kenny in terms of maybe getting in the first half of this game, and I would imagine getting the opportunity to see frontline defenders for Jacksonville. Trubisky played a little bit in week 1 of the preseason with the starters. 4 of 7, 63 yards and a score. I thought, after a bit of a rocky camp, a very big kind of settling and relaxing and faring well moment there. Mason Rudolph wasn't bad either. And then Pickett was very impressive, the game-winning score, etc. I do think it's funny to hear Tomlin call it varsity action, implying that the other guys are all JV players, which isn't wrong, but I don't know how some of, the other guys in the third, fourth string are going to feel hearing that in the end. But I trust Tomlin. He's been a great coach for years now. Of the 3 quarterbacks, who are you more excited to see? Type in KP for Kenny Pickett, MT for Mitchell Trubisky, or MR for Mason Rudolph. Of the 3 quarterbacks in this game for the preseason against Jacksonville, who are you most hype? Sound off in the comments section. Let's talk Chase Claypool trade? ? Mike Florio has floated the idea of the Steelers trading away Claypool before this year's NFL trade deadline. Now, part of it was, hey, if George Pickens is that dude, I've already paid Deontay Johnson, it could make sense to move on from Chase Claypool, who's entering year 3 of the NFL. We're going to go in depth on Florio's quote in a minute, but first, the quote itself. I wouldn't be surprised, Florio says, if Chase Claypool got traded before the deadline on November 1st. I don't think they're going to pay him the way they paid Deontay Johnson. He's going to want even more than Johnson. You've got to hold some back for George Pickens. Once you see that Pickens can get it done, I think you have to put on the table the possibility of trading away Chase Claypool. So should Pittsburgh do this? Sound off in the comments section. T for trade him, or K for keep, at least for now, because I'm of the mindset you don't have to rush into this decision. But I want to hear from you, T or K. Claypool didn't play as well in 2021. Yeah, the average went up, but the touchdowns, all that stuff went down. And if you are banking on Claypool being that guy and earning a contract bigger than Deontay Johnson, do you want to trade him away so quickly when you've got a very young receiver core as it sits right now? I am all aboard the George Pickens hype train. I think anyone who's watched the show knows how I feel about Pickens. I thought he was a steal where the Steelers got him. Pun not really intended there. But there's also no rush. Chase Claypool is under contract through the 2023 season. So if Pickens is playing great and Johnson's playing great, unless Calvin Austin is also balling, you don't have to dump Claypool quite so quickly. Deontay Johnson's contract, by the way, ends in 2024. You could extend Claypool if you wanted to and have the contract really hit once Johnson's off the books. Meanwhile, George Pickens, he's not even due for a new deal until 2025. So there is timing and space of these contracts to juggle it if you want to. And, of course, that assumes Chase Claypool continues to play well. I'm actually looking less at Pickens being the guy and more at Calvin Austin. I like Calvin Austin a lot. He's been a bit banged up as of late at training camp, preseason, etc. for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But if he's not ready, don't rush into Chase Claypool. Because you know what? You can always trade him in the offseason. And maybe that's a better timeline for Pittsburgh than it is trading him away at the deadline. Now, if you get a great offer, okay, cool. I'm down with that conversation. But I don't think there's any rush to move on from Chase Claypool at this point.